Learning tarot can be hard enough, right? There's so many card meanings to learn, plus you have to figure out how to read them together in a tarot spread, and there's so many like outside pressures on how to do it the right way, right? Wrong. There's no right way or wrong way to read tarot cards. There's only your way and the ways that work for you. But I do have to tell you that I have seen some of my students, especially beginners, make some common mistakes over and over. And I'm not going to tell you that this is the wrong way to read tarot. I'm just saying that if you make these mistakes, it might be more difficult to learn how to read the cards. I want to save you from that and make it as easy as possible. So I put this video together for you. Hi, I'm Angie Green from The Simple Tarot, which is all about helping you learn how to read the tarot cards in a way that's simple, fun, and easy so that you can then use the tarot as a tool for creativity, for self-care, for personal development, or whatever fun times you want to have. I have been teaching tarot for over 5 years online, and I've seen new students make these same mistakes like over and over and over, and it really holds them back. So not just from making progress with tarot, although it certainly does, but also it kind of holds them back from living their best life. And I know that sounds kind of dramatic, right? It probably is, but tarot is always a really good mirror. If you're making one of the simple mistakes in this video that I show you when you're learning tarot, it's likely that you're also making that same mistake in the bigger aspect of your life, and that pattern might be holding you back. So one of the most common mistakes is that you feel as a beginner pressured to do it the right way, someone else's right way. Really, you're searching for answers outside of yourself. Honestly, the very best way to learn tarot is to make it easy on yourself by making it fun. You need to find your way. My way is just one way. And I teach a lot of people, so I know what tends to work for most people, but that's not a guarantee that it's going to work for you. You need to find your way. So mistake number one is feeling pressured to do it someone else's way or feeling pressured to do it the right way. Don't. Just do it your way and try to make it as much fun as possible for you. The second thing I see as a really common mistake, really common, is that people, especially tarot beginners, are overwhelmed when they see 78 cards and they're trying to memorize them. Those card meanings don't need to be memorized. Honestly, they don't. One of the great ways to do this is to cheat by getting a cheat sheet or using the Simple Tarot deck that's got the card meanings printed right on the cards. You can also get just sort of like a throwaway deck and a Sharpie marker and write your own meanings on the cards. Like, it doesn't need to be so precious, but don't bother memorizing anything. And the reason why, so there's a difference between long-term and short-term memory. Memorizing a card puts it into your short-term memory, but it does not help you put it into your long-term memory. Very, very, very few people, I'm talking like a tiny percentage of people are actually able to memorize information and then transfer that information easily into their long-term memory just through memorization. The majority of us, me, you, everyone else, really has a hard time doing that. And it is true that you can practice those memorization skills to improve your memorization ability by putting memorized things into long-term memory. But instead of doing that, there's actually a better way. Don't try to memorize the card meanings. Instead, take it the long, slow approach. Slow tarot by doing just a little bit at a time. And as long as you keep it fun and interesting for yourself, you will learn those card meanings without even trying to. It is so much better to do it that way. It's so much more enjoyable. And you actually will then put that information into your long-term memory, which is where you want it when you're reading tarot cards. So take it long, be patient, do slow tarot, and of course, make it fun for yourself. That's how you're actually going to learn the card meanings. Mistake number 3 is waiting to understand everything perfectly. So this kind of divides into two problems. First is waiting to understand everything perfectly, meaning you don't feel comfortable really diving into tarot spreads until you know the tarot card meanings. You don't need to know the meanings to read spreads. Use the cheat sheet. Use notes. Use those flashcards you made or the deck. Use whatever tools you can so you can just dive right into the deep end. You're going to be fine. Also, like waiting to understand everything perfectly, if you're waiting, you're never going to get enough practice to actually start getting good. So I do know that it is really intimidating and terrifying, really, to read tarot for other people. But you are going to become a better tarot reader the more you practice. So by reading for other people who are either complete strangers on the internet and you never actually have to see them again, or by reading for people who are so close to you that they're going to be super forgiving of your mistakes, it's a great way to get practice. And you don't need to understand the card meanings or really know how to read tarot cards to start practicing tarot reading. Just dive right in. The second half of this is waiting to understand everything perfectly. You will never know everything perfectly. Tarot is so complex and deep. You're not going to find any of that complexity or depth really at the simple tarot. My job here is to keep it simple, easy, and fun, and get you to the point where you know the card meanings and feel really confident reading them so that you can then start diving deep on your own or with some other tarot teacher. Totally awesome when you get to that level. But even at that level, you're not going to be a perfect tarot reader. You're going to never know everything. Tarot is a lifelong journey, and you're going to keep growing and changing and learning with tarot as you keep learning more information. There is no like perfect end. So don't wait. Start right now because you're never going to find perfection. You definitely will find growth, though, if you start today. Sort of related to these three mistakes is the fourth mistake, which is trying to do too much at once. So tarot can be overwhelming. I'll give you that. You've got the card meanings, you've got the cheat sheet, you've got a deck, you've got spreads. Do you read for yourself? What about your tarot journal? Do you read for others? Okay, I know it's a lot. It really is, but it doesn't need to be complicated. And you don't need to do it all at once. Although I do suggest you dive right in with tarot readings. I don't think you need to read complicated spreads. You don't need to read reverse cards. You can totally cheat on the court cards. Just start with a simple 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 card tarot reading, but you don't need to go to like the Celtic Cross. Don't do everything at once. You don't need to dive, although I'm saying dive into the deep end of the pool, you really could wear your floaties while you're over there and diving in, right? You don't need to jump from the huge diving board, right? You can just jump right in. So don't try to do too much. Do enough so that it's fun for you and interesting, but without being overwhelming. And remember, tarot and learning tarot is really kind of a long haul journey. You're never going to learn it perfectly, but you are going to continue to grow and learn over time. And the longer you stay with it, the more you learn. So really, you don't need to cram all that information into your brain right now. You don't need to dive in and do everything perfect right now. That's not possible. So really, just do a little bit today, and then tomorrow do another little bit and another, and it totally grows on itself. So don't try to do too much at once or try to do everything all at once. Totally not necessary. You're in this for a lifetime. And so now there's 2 other things I see that are, they're very common mistakes, and they're not just mistakes that tarot learners make. I actually see more advanced tarot readers making these 2 mistakes. So I just want to give you a warning to look out for these things in your tarot practice. They don't have anything to do with learning tarot. These 2 are more about reading tarot. And the first one is about when you go to the cards, you ask a bad question. I see this all the time, and I really don't think that there's, I don't know, saying bad makes it seem like a judgmental thing, like you're good and you're bad, but there really are some questions that are better than others. And if you go to the tarot with a bad question, then you're most likely not going to get a good answer. So if the question is leading, meaning that you're trying to tell the tarot what to tell you, like, I don't know. Let's say you have a crush and you're asking, will Tommy ask me out on Tuesday or Thursday? When really Tommy has no intention of asking you out and the tarot's going to tell you that. Asking a bad question like that, a leading question, means that you're not going to get the information you expect. And that means you're probably not going to accept the information that the tarot is telling you. So just be very, very careful. You don't want, when you're asking a tarot question, you don't want to lead the tarot too much. You want to leave open room for the tarot to be able to guide you and answer the question in a way that you feel that you can actually learn from the tarot reading. Also, be mindful of manipulating other people or trying to control other people. And this is just something that we all go through. But the only things you can really control in your life are your own beliefs, your own thoughts, your own words, your own choices, and your own actions. That's 5 things. And that's the only thing in the world you get control over. Everything else outside of those 5 things is outside of your control. You may be able to influence them, and that is a may. But there's no guarantee that you will have influence of them. And you will certainly not be able to control someone else's words, their choices, their actions, their beliefs, or their thoughts. It might seem like you can. You may really, really want to be able to control those things, but ultimately, you have 0 control over those things when it relates to other people. So when you're asking a good tarot question, you're really going to be asking something related to your sphere of control, your thoughts, your beliefs, your choices, your words, and your actions. If the tarot spread reading that you're trying to do is trying to control someone else or find information so that you then can control someone else related to their actions or their choices, just know that you're not getting as good or as strong of a reading as you would if you were reading about your own self. Tarot is so much about personal development and about growing as a human being. If you're trying to manipulate or control someone else or some other situation, there is no growth there. And so tarot is not going to be as helpful for you if you are doing that. So I don't want to say that's a bad question, but it is certainly not as good to ask questions where you're trying to influence someone else's world. Really, try to keep it within the influence of your own sphere of control. And finally, this I see happening all the time, especially it does happen when you're a new tarot reader, but it also happens when you're, let's just say I do this still, and I try not to do it as a mistake, but you repeat the same question over and over when you go to the cards because you don't like the answer. So let's just say I was asking about Tommy and that crush. Okay, so hey Tarot, when will Tommy ask me out? And you get an answer that says Tommy's not going to ask you out. And then you say, hey Tommy, or hey Tarot, what does Tommy think about me? And then the tarot gives you another answer that you don't particularly like. So then you keep going back to the tarot with versions of the same question, like, hey, Tommy, or hey, tarot, when will Tommy start, having romantic feelings for me? Hey, tarot, when are Tommy and I going to hook up? Like, if you keep going back to the tarot with versions of the same question because you don't like the answers, you are not learning and growing, and tarot is not a tool to help you. You are trying to manipulate and control that situation, a situation that you have no control over. So repeating the same question over and over to the tarot because you don't like the answer, something we all do, but be mindful that you're doing it and that you're not going to be getting any useful information out of the tarot when you do that. The tarot is very, very good at calling you out on your BS. So just be open to the fact that you might get any information back from the tarot that you actually don't want to hear. It's really good at pointing out areas of your life that you're ignoring or unwilling to confront, especially when it deals with the shadow side and things that feel dark or unwelcome within you. So tarot can be a hard lesson, taskmaster, I guess, lesson master, but be open to that because that's where your personal growth and really the best use of tarot is there. So those are the common mistakes I really see. 4 having to do with learning tarot, and then 2 having to do with reading tarot. And really those 2 that have to do with reading tarot are all about keeping tarot within your circle of control. Trying to influence the world, great. We would all love to have great influence over the world, but you can't control that. The only thing you can control is your actions and your choices, your words, your beliefs, and your thoughts, and how you put yourself out into the world. Yeah, so everyone makes mistakes like these when they're first learning how to read tarot cards, like everybody does. But these mistakes are not fatal. They're totally a part of the process. We all learn somehow, right? And tarot is a lifelong process of learning more about the cards and learning more about ourselves. So one of the best tools for that learning, which is great for beginners, but is also powerful enough to keep more advanced tarot readers challenged, is the simple daily draw. This is in my opinion, one of the best ways to learn tarot, but also to keep tarot a regular habit in your daily life. It is simple, powerful, and surprisingly easy. So put together this video about the daily draw. I'll explain more there. And now I'll go see you there.